Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Charlie Sheen's natal chart, part 2. And the first thing I want to get at is in part 2 is that Charlie Sheen has a mutual reception with his Sun in Virgo and Mercury in Leo. Now, mutual reception, this occurs when the signs aren't each other's rulers. So, this combination may give Sheen an ability to speak confidently about himself without coming across as arrogant or conceited. Mutual receptions, you're usually able to make the energies work very well together. So in this case, Charlie Sheen, I believe he does more likely than not. Now, he also has a stellium in Virgo. Now, stellium is with Sun, Uranus, and Pluto, and it's in the 5th house, so this could indicate a strong concentration of Virgo energy, the basic wants, which is the Sun, the freedom, the original, the ingenuity side of him, Uranus, and transformation, regeneration, which is Pluto, are all strongly integrated, and there may be much Virgo analysis and meticulousness, precision, and premeditation in matters pertaining to the 5th house, such as children and amusement, fun, creativity, which may explain why a lot of that energy may go into his acting, I believe. So, anyway, he also has Scorpio intercepted in the 6th house, and Taurus is intercepted in the 12th house. So naturally, you're going to have a pair of interceptions. If you have one, you're going to have another in the opposite sign in the opposite house, of course. And this could indicate perhaps suppressed emotional intensity, which is Scorpio, and matters connected with work, and then which is the 6th house, and then also finding peace and tranquility in the private life, which is the peace, tranquility, of course, being Taurus, the private life being the 12th house. Now, this could also indicate possible health-related issues associated with Scorpio, which, of course, we know about because of the positive HIV revelation he made. And also, it could indicate problems perhaps with persistence and finishing things in his private life due to the fact that Taurus is intercepted in the 12th house. Now, he has, when I look at this, he has a mutable T-square, which involves the Moon, Jupiter, and Chiron. And yes, I use Chiron, which is subjective and discretional. I think it could be it may be a weak T-square, but I still use it in aspect configurations in astrology. Now, he has the Moon, opposes Jupiter, and it squares... they both square Chiron in the 11th. And when you have a mutable T-square, it can indicate a lot of ambiguity, a lot of vacillation, a lot of even anxiety could happen to some degree. Really, a lot of abrupt, extemporaneous changes of mind. There could be a strong ability to adapt to adverse circumstances, but when you have T-squares, there can be many obstructions and blockages, but it could also there can also be a strong ability to work through them, and if you can work through them, then it could lead to some prodigious achievement. And really, that's and the thing is, what's important is to look at, for Charlie Sheen in this case, to look at the opposite point. You can look at the opposite point of the, I guess you could say, the focal planet, focal at least point, not planet, but point, which is Chiron in Pisces in the 11th. So the opposite point would be Virgo in the 5th house. So through things connected, maybe analytical amusement, analytical being Virgo, amusement, 5th house, things where he can apply Virgo analysis and things with fun, amusement, and even things with perhaps with children, his children as well. This could perhaps that could be the way to maybe alleviate some of the exasperation and tension associated with the mutable T-square, but not eradicating the influence completely, of course. Now, He also has a grand air trine configuration. It involves the MC, the North Node, and it involves Venus. So this could indicate a strong ability to be verbose, articulate his thoughts very well, and it could also indicate strong possible scientific and intellectual ability. Now he has. It could indicate the problem with grand trine configurations is the danger is complacency and not capitalizing on these natural abilities and using them to the fullest potential. Now, Aquarius MC could show ingenuity in career and matters, and also having the North Node in Gemini in the first house can give us strong communication ability from his, as far as just himself. In general, he also has Gemini rising, so this may accentuate that to some degree. And just being able to communicate, the outer demeanor, being able to communicate very well, and really showing this strong ability in that. Now, and as in Gemini eloquence. Now, and also having the Venus in Libra could show a strong ability as far as sociability and things connected. Venus in Libra is in the 6th house, so this could just show that that charming nature, that sociability in matters with their work and fellow employees, and all these elements may integrate very strongly and work very well together. So, and the next thing I want to talk about, he has the Mars in Scorpio in the 6th house, making a long inconjunct to his ascendant. Now, Mars in Scorpio can have strong, intense sexual energy, and in the 6th, it could indicate maybe possible liaisons with people that he worked with. Now, the long inconjunct to the ascendant can signify health issues involving Scorpio, which we know he has because, as we know, the HIV revelation. And inconjuncts can often indicate health issues, and especially the fact this is coming from the 6th house of health, that this surely intensifies that. Well, some interesting transits he has. He has transiting Uranus in the 12th house, and when you have the transiting Uranus in the 12th house, it could indicate some chaos and madness and mayhem and tumult in your private life. And it could also indicate that there may be matters that you were trying to suppress. You had maybe some secrets that you didn't want to come out, that wind up being unveiled, and which is what's obviously happened with Charlie Sheen. Now, he also had, at the time when he made the revelation on the Today Show, he had the Sun and Mercury, both in Scorpio, transiting his intercepted 6th house. So this could have made this more stressful and a little bit more arduous and tougher thing to have to deal with. If I'm not mistaken, the Sun and Mercury were in close proximity, conjunction at the time. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they were, and this may have been that need to feel compelled to talk about this matter at that particular moment in time. Now, another thing I thought was an interesting transit with Charlie Sheen is that he has transiting Saturn conjunct his South Node in the 7th house right now. Now, this could indicate perhaps extricating himself from relationships that were detrimental, or which he showed maybe an over-exuberance and enthusiasm for, which really he shouldn't have. Now, having Saturn transiting the 7th can indicate legal issues. It could also show difficulties with open adversaries and enemies. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he has a number of people suing him at this present time, or they're either in the process or going to, and so it's really not a big shocker. And transiting Saturn is also opposing his natal ascendant. So this could indicate perhaps that his own needs are clashing with maybe responsibilities to others in particular relationships right now. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Charlie Sheen's Natal Chart Part 2, and stay tuned next time where I will be continuing my series on the Sun Ascendant combinations. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.